All right, guys, so I'm Miss Allen, and I'm going to take you through the lab safety rules for life science. So these rules are very important for you when you're working on lab experiments. And these are not just for when you're in school, but also for when you're at home, because you're going to be doing labs at home while we're doing virtual. All right, and I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. So first, let's read through this lab safety contract. So, science is a hands-on laboratory class, and students will be performing many lab activities that will require the use of chemicals, lab equipment, and other items, which, if used incorrectly, could be hazardous. Safety in the science classroom is the number one priority for students, teachers, and parents. To ensure a safe science classroom, a list of rules has been developed and provided to you in this student safety contract. These rules must be followed at all times. The student and parent must sign the contract. Please read the entire contract before you sign. Students will not be allowed to participate in lab activities until their contract is signed and returned to the teacher. This is the same thing for being able to pick up your lab boxes. We have to have this on file for you to be able to come pick your lab box up from us at school. Okay? So our general guidelines. First, you're going to conduct yourself in a responsible manner at all times. So don't be goofing off and doing crazy things, okay? Follow all written and verbal instructions carefully. If you do not understand, ask the teacher before proceeding with the activity. So a lot of times you'll have lab instructions written down, and so you need to make sure that you read those procedures, and then we will give you verbal instructions too out loud. So if you don't know what to do, then ask. Probably the first thing we're going to say is, did you read the written instructions? And if you say no, then we're going to tell you to read those first, okay? Number 3, when entering the lab, do not touch equipment, chemicals, or other materials until instructed to do so, because you don't know what they're for. Number 4, perform only those experiments authorized by your teacher. Carefully follow all instructions provided. Unauthorized experiments are not allowed. So you will see in your lab boxes that there are a lot of things that look like you could just do whatever you wanted to with them, but we don't want you to do that. You need to do the experiments that we give you. Do not eat, drink, or chew gum in the laboratory is rule number 5. So while you're doing experiments, you don't want to do those things. Number 6, be prepared for your work in the lab. Read all procedures thoroughly before entering the lab. Number 7, horseplay, practical jokes, and goofing off are not permitted. These can make things really hard in the lab, and you can cause really dangerous situations if you're goofing off. Number 8, observe good housekeeping practices. Keep your area tidy and clean, and leave the lab better than you found it. This is the same thing at your house, so make sure your area is clean when you're doing your lab experiments so that you don't contaminate your lab experiments. Number 9, be alert and proceed with caution at all times. Notify the teacher if any unsafe conditions or accidents occur. Number 10, dispose of all chemical waste properly. Don't ever mix chemicals unless you are told to do so. Number 11, goggles must be worn in the lab at all times, except when specifically told by the teacher that they are not needed. So you're not going to have goggles while you're at home, but that's okay. All of these labs are safe for you to do without lab goggles. Number 12, experiments must be personally monitored at all times. Do not wander around the room or distract other students. So don't leave your experiment while it's happening unless you have to wait overnight or something for your experiment to occur. Okay. Number 13, tie back long hair and secure any loose clothing when working in the lab. So you don't want that to get in your way. Number 14, this is extremely important. Do not taste, smell, or handle any chemicals. All chemicals should be considered hazardous. So a lot of chemicals that you're going to be getting in your lab boxes are things that you might find in your house, like water or vinegar or rubbing alcohol. These do not need to be consumed. All right, even though you have them at your house, that doesn't mean that they're safe for you to consume while you're doing your lab experiments. That goes the same as with the food stuff that we're giving you, because you're going to have like gummy bears and spice drops, and you do not need to eat those. Number 15, all broken glass should be reported to the teacher. The teacher will supervise the cleanup and placement of broken glass in the box labeled for that purpose. And number 16, do not look into a container that is being heated. Do not touch the glassware. It will remain hot for a long period of time. So glass does not change color when it's heated. So you may not know that it's hot. So just don't touch it if you think if it's hot. All right, so we're going to go over consequences for breaking lab safety rules. The student will immediately stop the action and will discuss the issue with your teacher, Dr. Schroed or Miss Allen or Miss Brown, during class or break. Parents will be contacted and asked to discuss the issue with students. Break or lunch detention may be issued. If this continues, then after school detention will be issued. Then you will have to have a conference with parents, and you may be removed completely from the lab or have a referral based on the Madison City School Code of Conduct. So note that the severity of the offense, so how bad the offense is, will determine the consequence. Usually safety violations in a lab are considered very serious because things can escalate very quickly. All right. Now, this must be signed. You must read through the syllabus and your lab safety, and this must be signed by Friday, August 14th. That's this Friday, because we're going to have lab box pickup on Monday, August 17th, right? So if you click right here on this link, it will take you directly to the form that you need to fill out. All right, so both student and parent need to sign this form and submit it. And then on Monday, what you'll do is you will come to the school, a parent or somebody will come to the school to pick up your lab boxes. You'll just go through the car line like you normally would for drop off or pickup. And we will give you your lab box. You'll sign off that you got your lab box and you'll take it home. So like I said before, in your lab box, there are things like gummy bears and candy and water and vinegar. These things are for our lab experiments. They are not for you to eat or drink. So make sure that you keep these boxes out of the reach of younger siblings. Make sure that they don't eat the things out of them, because we do not have extras to give to you for these experiments, all right? So if you have any questions, you can always email Dr. Schroed or Miss Brown or me, whoever your teacher is, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday to pick up your lab boxes.